Welcome to World Information HD. Today we're diving into a tiny coin with a giant story. Yes, the humble penny. But not just any penny. We're talking the ultra-rare Lincoln pennies that have shocked the collecting world by selling for millions of dollars. From wartime minting blunders to astonishing die errors, we'll count down the top 10 most valuable Lincoln pennies, exploring how a 1-cent piece can become one of the most priceless items in a collection. Stay tuned, because you might just discover that change rattling around in your pocket is worth far more than you ever imagined. The year was 1972, a time when America stood at the crossroads of change. The Vietnam War was raging, technology was evolving, and people were still getting used to the idea of pocket calculators. Amid all this, something small yet incredibly fascinating was being produced by the U.S. Mint, a simple copper coin, a Lincoln 1-cent penny. It was supposed to be ordinary, just another coin to help buy candy or bubble gum. But among the billions minted that year, a few special ones were struck differently, and those rare coins would later become worth more than anyone could have imagined. Welcome to World Information HD, where we explore the most valuable coins ever made in the United States. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that looks simple on the surface but hides an incredible mystery, one that could turn spare change in your pocket into a life-changing fortune. Let's journey back in time and uncover what makes this 1972 penny so rare, how to identify it, and why collectors are willing to pay a small fortune to own one. First, let's talk about the design, a coin we've all seen 1,000 times. On the front, or obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. It's been the face of the penny since 1909, created to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday. The words, "In God We Trust," arc across the top, "Liberty" rests to the left, and the date, 1972, appears on the right. At first glance, this penny doesn't look unusual. There's no mint mark under the date, which means it was produced in Philadelphia, the only mint at the time that didn't include a mint mark on their coins. But what sets this particular penny apart isn't the missing mark, it's something far more fascinating. Some of these 1972 Philadelphia pennies show what numismatists call a doubled die obverse. That means when the coin was struck, the die used to stamp the image shifted slightly, causing the letters, numbers, and even Lincoln's profile to appear doubled. It's not a small blur or a faint shadow. It's a bold, visible doubling that you can see clearly even without a magnifying glass. This doubling effect gives the coin a dramatic, almost ghostly appearance. Look closely at the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." On genuine double die examples, these letters appear to have been stamped twice, offset just enough to make it noticeable. Even the date, 1972, itself looks like it's been written in shadow, one impression layered upon another. This kind of error doesn't happen often. It's a striking mistake caused during the minting process when the master hub, which creates the die, accidentally imprints the design twice at slightly different angles. Most of these errors are caught and destroyed before the coins reach circulation, but a few always manage to escape. And those few are what collectors dream of finding. Imagine holding one of these rare coins in your hand, a tiny piece of history with a minting error so distinct it can be seen with the naked eye. Over the years, these coins have become some of the most sought after in the Lincoln penny series. But not every 1972 penny is valuable. The U.S. Mint struck more than 2.9 billion Lincoln cents that year. Only a few thousand are known to be true double die errors, and even fewer are still in excellent condition. So, how can you tell if you've got one of the rare ones? Here's what you need to do. Take your 1972 penny and examine it under good lighting. Focus on the word "Liberty." If you notice that each letter appears doubled, with a clear shadow effect, that's your first sign. Next, check the words "In God We Trust" across the top. In genuine examples, the doubling is most visible in the letters IN and Trust. Finally, look at the date itself, 1972. Each number should have a clear and distinct doubling effect, especially the 2. If you see this, don't ignore it, you might be holding something extraordinary. Now, let's talk about condition. one of the biggest factors that determine a coin's value. Collectors use a grading scale from poor P1 all the way to mint state MS70 to judge a coin's condition. The higher the grade, the better the value. Coins with little wear, strong details, and original shine are worth significantly more than those that have been circulated or damaged. For example, a 1972 double-die penny in average circulated condition might fetch anywhere from $100 to $300. But in pristine, mint-state condition, with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches, the value skyrockets. Some have sold at auctions for thousands of dollars, making them one of the most desirable Lincoln pennies ever made. Now you might be wondering, how rare is it to find one? According to collectors, only one specific variety of doubled die is considered the true, major, error. There are also several minor varieties, often labeled as DDO002 through DDO010, but these have much less dramatic doubling and are valued lower. The DDO001 variety, however, is the holy grail of the 1972 pennies.so. If you ever find a 1972 penny that looks a bit strange, it's worth taking a closer look. A good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help you confirm the details. Even better, you can send it to a professional grading company like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, for authentication and grading. Once verified, your coin could instantly jump from being worth 1 cent to being worth thousands. And here's what's even more exciting. There have been real-life stories of people finding these coins in pocket change, old jars, or coin rolls bought from the bank. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a roll of pennies, and suddenly spotting those doubled letters staring back at you. That's the kind of discovery that can make any coin collector's heart race. But let's dive deeper into why these coins are so valuable. It's not just about rarity. It's also about history, era type, and preservation. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and the 1972 double-die penny does exactly that. It represents a mistake made during a crucial stage of minting, preserved perfectly on metal for over 50 years. It's a physical reminder that even the most precise machines can make errors, and sometimes, those errors create something beautiful. The 1972 penny also marked an important period for American coinage. It was one of the last years before the U.S. Mint began to experiment with cheaper metal compositions. These pennies were still made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a rich, dark tone that modern zinc pennies lack. Every coin from that era carries a little bit of history from a time when craftsmanship mattered deeply. Collectors are willing to pay high prices for coins like these because they're more than just currency. They're historical artifacts. Each one has a story, a mistake that transformed it from ordinary to extraordinary. Today, coin experts and hobbyists are still hunting for these 1972 double-die pennies. Many collectors consider it one of the Big Five, Lincoln-era coins, alongside the 1955 double-die, the 1969 S double-die, the 1983 double-die reverse, and the 1995 double-die obverse. Each of these coins tells a unique story, but the 1972 no-mint mark penny stands out because of its visibility and accessibility. It was produced in massive numbers, yet only a handful turned out this special. Like needles in a haystack.so, if you ever come across a 1972 penny, take a closer look before spending it. That small coin in your hand might carry a hidden treasure, waiting to be discovered after decades of lying unnoticed. Many collectors start their journey with simple pocket change finds like this. It's thrilling, it's rewarding, and it shows that history can still hide in plain sight. Who knows? Maybe you're the next lucky person to uncover one of these legendary coins. As time passes, these rare errors only become more valuable, especially in higher grades. The combination of rarity, collector demand, and striking visual error ensures that their value will continue to climb. And now, the question you've been waiting for: just how much can one of these rare 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent pennies be worth in top condition? Welcome back to World Information HD, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story can make you rich beyond imagination. Today, we're going to explore a coin that most people overlook every single day. It's small, copper in color, and often tossed into jars, pockets, or drawers without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking pennies, the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent, could be hiding a life-changing secret? Yes, you heard that right. This common penny might be worth thousands of dollars, and collectors are desperately searching for it.so. Before you empty your change jar or spend that last penny at the store, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and you'll never see your pocket change the same way again. Let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin that bridges the gap between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The year was 1987. America was thriving in an era of economic optimism, neon fashion, and technological innovation. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies that year, over 4.6 billion, to be exact, from the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them were used in daily transactions, passed from hand to hand, and eventually forgotten. But among those billions, some stood out. A few were struck with such precision, clarity, and brilliance that collectors now view them as treasures. Others, however, contained tiny mistakes, minting errors so small that the naked eye might not even notice. But for coin collectors, those little differences are worth big money. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent so unique. First, the absence of a mint mark. Usually, coins made at the Denver Mint have a small D beneath the date, and those from San Francisco have an S. But the ones minted in Philadelphia, like the 1987 no-mint Mark penny, carry no mark at all. For most people, that means nothing. For collectors, it's a crucial clue. The Philadelphia Mint didn't begin using its P mint mark on pennies until 2017, which means that in 1987, every no-mint mark penny came from Philadelphia. However, not all of them were created equally. Some of these coins have stunning proof-like surfaces, sharper details, and beautiful luster, making them far more desirable to collectors. And here's where things get interesting. Some 1987 no-mint Mark pennies were struck using worn or misaligned dies, leading to fascinating varieties. You might come across a coin with a double die obverse, where Lincoln's features, his eye, mouth, or date, appear slightly doubled. Others may show minor die cracks, cuds, or misstrikes that increase their rarity and value. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if your 1987 penny is valuable? Let's go step by step. Start by picking up a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and examining the details closely. Look at Lincoln's face, his eye, his lips, and the word Liberty. Are there any signs of doubling or distortion? If yes, you might be holding a double die variety, one of the most sought-after features in coin collecting. Next, examine the edges of the coin. A well-struck 1987 penny should have clean, smooth rims with sharp lettering. Coins with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, can fetch impressive prices at auctions. Also, inspect the reverse side. The Lincoln Memorial should be crisp, with clear steps and details. Coins with die cracks or extra metal lines may be error varieties that collectors go crazy for. Condition matters a lot in coin collecting. Most 1987 pennies found in circulation have scratches, wear, and dull surfaces, which keep their value low. But if your coin still has that bright, red, copper-like shine and minimal marks, you could have something special. Grading agencies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, *** use a scale from 1 to 70 to rate coins. If your 1987 no-mint Mark penny earns a high grade, like MS67 or MS68, its value skyrockets. Now let's add a little bit of history. The 1987 Lincoln penny belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, which was first introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse, or front side, features Lincoln's bust, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, where, if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside. This design ran for 50 years, from 1959 to 2008. before being replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennial Series and later the Union Shield design in 2010. That makes the 1987 penny part of an important historical chapter in U.S. coinage, a bridge between mid-century design and modern minting technology. But beyond history, what makes this penny truly fascinating is how something so ordinary can become extraordinary under the right conditions. Think about it. Millions of people have held a 1987 penny. It might have bought a piece of candy, paid for parking, or rested at the bottom of a child's piggy bank. Yet today, the same coin could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity. It's a reminder that sometimes, value hides in plain sight. Collectors are especially drawn to coins with mirror-like finishes, known as proof-like surfaces, even though these are not official proof coins. The U.S. Mint did strike official 1987 S-proof pennies at the San Francisco facility, but the no-mint mark business strike from Philadelphia remains the one that surprises people most often, because it looks so normal. Imagine finding one in your change. The same penny you might have ignored yesterday suddenly turns into a hidden fortune. Now, let's talk about some real-life discoveries. Over the years, coin enthusiasts have uncovered 1987 no-mint mark pennies in exceptional condition, coins that look brand new, as if they were just struck yesterday. These have sold for remarkable amounts at auctions. In particular, coins graded MS68 red by PCGS or NGC are extremely rare. The red designation means the coin has retained its original copper color without darkening or spotting, something almost impossible after decades in circulation. One of these top-graded examples made headlines in the numismatic world when it sold for thousands of dollars. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents are always on the hunt for coins like this because they complete the puzzle of U.S. mint perfection. Even minor variations, like slight die rotation, off-center strikes, or faint doubling, can multiply the coin's worth several times over. So, the next time you find a shiny 1987 penny, don't just spend it. Check it carefully, because it could be the one that changes your life. Here's another fascinating detail most people don't know: the composition of the 1987 penny. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of solid copper. But in 1982, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition. That means your 1987 penny is actually about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change reduced production costs but also made the coins more prone to corrosion if exposed to moisture or air for too long. Collectors value well-preserved examples even more because most zinc-based pennies from the 1980s tend to develop spots or discoloration. So, if your 1987 penny has a bright, flawless surface with no spots or bubbling, you might be holding a top-quality piece that could attract strong interest from serious collectors. Now, let's explore what makes these coins truly stand out in auctions. In online marketplaces like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Great Collections, 1987 no-mint mark pennies in brilliant uncirculated condition often sell for anywhere between a few dollars to hundreds, depending on the grade and uniqueness. But the highest graded specimens, the ones preserved like time capsules from the day they were struck, are the real stars of the show. Experts have noted that high-quality 1987 no-mint mark pennies can be among the hardest to find in the Lincoln Memorial series because of their tendency to develop spotting and wear over time. When a coin survives all these years in flawless mint state, it becomes a prize for any serious collector. And here's the amazing part. The record price for one of these rare 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies reached an astonishing amount. Yes, one pristine example of this coin, perfectly preserved and graded by professionals, sold for a breathtaking $45,876. That's right. A single penny, worth only 1 cent on paper, transformed into a treasure worth $45,876. So, the next time you see a 1987 penny sitting quietly in your coin jar, take a closer look. Welcome back everyone to World Information HD, the place where history, mystery, and money come together. Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of a small but fascinating coin that many people overlook every single day, the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might think it's just an ordinary penny from your pocket change, But what if I told you that some of these tiny copper coins could be worth thousands of dollars? That's right. One of these humble pennies once sold for a fortune, and today we're uncovering exactly why.so. Grab your coin jars, check your change, and sit back, because what you're about to learn might just make you look at your everyday pennies in a completely new way. Let's go back to the mid-1990s, a time of major change in the United States. The year was 1995. The internet was new, the economy was booming, and millions of Americans were going about their daily lives without realizing that something unusual was happening at the U.S. Mint. In that year, the United States Mint struck billions of Lincoln cents. Yes, billions. But among those countless coins, a small number came out different. To the untrained eye, they looked normal, but coin collectors noticed something intriguing, a variation, a flaw, a subtle imperfection that transformed this common penny into a hidden treasure. Before we get into the mystery, let's first understand what the 1995 penny actually is. Like all Lincoln cents made between 1959 and 2008, it features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The front, or obverse, shows Lincoln facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust." Above, Liberty, to the left, and the date, 1995, just below. Now, on most coins, you'll also see a tiny letter under the date. That's the mint mark, which tells us where the coin was made. A D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But on some coins, there's no mint mark at all. That means it was produced in Philadelphia, the oldest U.S. mint facility. So, the 1995 no mint mark penny comes from Philadelphia. But not all of them are valuable. The secret lies in something else entirely, something that makes this year's penny one of the most famous modern errors in coin history. You see, during the minting process, a small number of 1995 Lincoln cents were struck using doubled dies. What does that mean? Well, when the die that stamps the design onto the coin is made, it must be precisely aligned. But in this case, the design was accidentally impressed twice, slightly off from the first strike, causing the lettering to appear doubled. This doubling effect is most visible in the words, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust." If you hold the coin under good light and tilt it just right, you can clearly see the bold doubling of the letters. It's not a shadow, and it's not wear, it's an actual minting error. Now, the doubling error wasn't supposed to happen. But when it did, it went unnoticed at first. Thousands of these coins entered circulation before the mint even realized the mistake. By the time they did, it was too late. These coins were already in the hands of everyday Americans, hiding in pockets, jars, and piggy banks. Collectors started noticing the odd doubling in early 1995, and soon the news spread like wildfire across the coin community. The 1995 doubled die Lincoln cent became one of the most talked about coins of the decade. Coin magazines featured it, collectors rushed to their local banks to grab rolls of fresh pennies, and people all across the country began inspecting their change more closely than ever before. But here's what makes things even more fascinating. Not every 1995 penny with no mint mark is a doubled die. There were billions of normal Philadelphia minted pennies made that year. Only a small percentage had this striking doubling error. That's what gives these coins their incredible rarity and value. Imagine, billions of ordinary pennies, but a few thousand hidden treasures among them. Let's talk a bit about the physical details of the 1995 penny. It's made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, weighing just 2.5 grams. It measures 19 millimeters in diameter and has a smooth edge. To most people, it feels and looks like every other penny out there. But if you've got sharp eyes and good lighting, you could spot the doubling that separates the valuable ones from the common coins. Over the years, collectors and coin grading services have examined countless examples. The coins that are in excellent condition, especially those graded MS or mint state, can fetch serious money. Even circulated examples can be worth dozens or hundreds of dollars depending on the sharpness of the doubling and the overall preservation of the coin. But the real treasures are the uncirculated, pristine coins, the ones that look like they just came out of the mint yesterday. These can command astonishing prices at coin shows, online auctions, and professional grading services. It's not just about the error, either. It's about the story behind it, a story of precision, craftsmanship, and the rare mistakes that slip through even the most careful systems. These errors remind collectors that even in modern minting, perfection is rare, and imperfection can make something priceless. To this day, coin hunters continue to look for that telltale doubling on the 1995 no-mint mark penny. It's become a sort of legend among collectors, a modern-day treasure hunt where the prize might be sitting in your spare change right now. And here's something even more intriguing. The discovery of this coin sparked a nationwide interest in error coins. It inspired thousands of new collectors to start looking through their change, learning about minting processes, and understanding the hidden history behind every U.S. coin. The 1995 double-die penny became a gateway coin, the one that turned regular people into passionate numismatists. If you ever find one, make sure to have it professionally authenticated. There are fake double dies out there, coins with machine doubling or damage that can fool the untrained eye. But a genuine 1995 double die penny, verified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, can easily command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its grade. What's especially fascinating is how a mistake became a masterpiece. The doubling error was purely accidental, but in the world of coin collecting, accidents like this are pure gold. Collectors love imperfections that tell a story, the human side of an otherwise mechanical process. So next time you're holding a handful of pennies, take a closer look. History might be hiding right there between your fingers. Because for all the billions of coins that come out of the mint, only a few ever tell a story this captivating. Think about it, a coin that was meant to be worth just 1 cent, a coin that passed through thousands of hands without anyone noticing its secret, now stands as one of the most famous modern errors in U.S. coinage history. That's the magic of numismatics, the study of coins. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, and as the years go by, the value of these error coins only continues to grow. Fewer pristine examples remain in existence, and as collectors seek to complete their Lincoln cent sets, demand keeps rising. For some people, it's not just a coin, it's a piece of American minting history, a symbol of how something small and imperfect can become something truly remarkable. It's a reminder that sometimes, the tiniest details can hold the biggest surprises. Now, here's the part everyone's been waiting for, the value. The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, the very same coin we've been talking about, once reached a jaw-dropping auction record. A flawless, mint-condition example sold for an incredible $39,009. Yes, you heard that right, $39,009 for a penny. So, before you spend that next penny or toss it into a jar, take a closer look. Check those letters. Look for that doubling. Because the coin sitting in your hand right now could be hiding a fortune. And that's the beauty of it. The world of coins is full of stories like this, waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching World Information HD. If you enjoyed this video and you love discovering rare treasures hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next episode on the most valuable and rare coins in American history. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if one of those old pennies could actually be worth a small fortune? What if I told you that a simple 1-cent coin from 1996, something most people overlook or toss aside, could secretly be worth thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're going deep into the incredible story of the United States of America 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A small copper-plated coin that's making huge waves among collectors and coin experts. Stick around until the end, because you might just learn that one of these little brown coins hiding in your change jar could change your life. Let's start with the background. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has a history that stretches back over a century. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual person. Over time, the Lincoln penny evolved, with small design adjustments, material changes, and the introduction of mint marks to identify where each coin was made. But in 1996, something fascinating happened, a year that would later produce one of the rarest and most sought-after era varieties in modern U.S. coin history. Now, the 1996 Lincoln penny was struck primarily at two major locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint coins are marked with a small D just below the year 1996 on the front of the coin, while coins struck at Philadelphia usually have no mint mark. But here's the interesting twist. In most years after 1980, pennies struck in Philadelphia were given the P mint mark. However, the 1996 no mint mark penny stood out because it carried no mark at all, sparking curiosity among collectors. At first glance, this coin might seem ordinary. A simple Lincoln penny featuring his iconic profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The front bears the famous motto "In God We Trust" across the top, with liberty to the left, and the date 1996 to the right. On the reverse, you'll find the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial, along with United States of America and E Pluribus Unum above, and 1 cent below. It's a design we've all seen countless times, but it's what's hiding beneath that familiar surface that makes some of these coins truly special. See, the U.S. Mint produces billions of pennies every year, and even a small error during production can turn a coin from ordinary pocket change into a collector's dream. In 1996, certain no-mint mark pennies were struck with unusual characteristics. These could include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverse errors, die cracks, or plating issues. Some of these coins slipped past quality control and ended up in circulation, where lucky finders later discovered that their worthless penny was anything but. Let's talk about one of the most exciting aspects of this coin, the double die error. A double die error happens when the coin's design is impressed twice by the die, causing parts of the lettering or images to appear doubled. On the 1996 Lincoln penny, these doubling effects can be seen on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date itself. Collectors pay huge premiums for coins with clear doubling because it's a visible, fascinating glimpse into the minting process gone wrong. But that's not all. Some 1996 no-mint mark pennies exhibit other striking anomalies. Die cracks that resemble tiny lightning bolts across Lincoln's face, misaligned strikes where part of the design is missing, and even broad strike errors that make the coin appear wider and thinner than normal. Each of these rare errors adds unique value, turning the coin from a simple 1-cent piece into something extraordinary. And then there's the question of condition, perhaps the most important factor of all. Coin collectors, or numismatists, rely on a grading scale to determine a coin's quality. The scale ranges from poor P1 all the way up to mint state, MS 70. The higher the grade, the more perfect and valuable the coin is. A 1996 penny found in circulation might have scratches, wear, and discoloration, placing it in the lower grades. But if you happen to have one that has been well preserved, maybe stored away in a coin folder, or even discovered in an untouched roll from a bank, its value can rise dramatically. Some of the most sought-after 1996 no-mint mark pennies are those in near-perfect condition, graded as MS 68 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These coins have brilliant luster, sharp detail, and almost no visible flaws. Collectors are willing to pay thousands for such examples because they are extremely rare. You might be wondering, how can I check if my 1996 penny is valuable? Start by examining the coin carefully under a good light. Look for any visible errors like doubling, off-center designs, or unusual marks. Then, pay attention to its overall condition. Is the surface shiny and free from scratches, or does it show wear and dullness? If it appears unusually perfect, it's worth getting it appraised or professionally graded. Here's a tip many collectors use. Look closely at Lincoln's ear, the letters in Liberty, and the date. These areas often reveal signs of doubling or weak strikes. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope for better accuracy. Even small details can make a huge difference. One tiny error could be the reason your penny is worth more than a used car. What makes the 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so fascinating is not just its potential monetary value, but also what it represents: a piece of history, a glimpse into the precision and imperfection of the minting process, and a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unexpected treasures. Each of these pennies carries a story, from the moment it was struck to the hands that passed it along over the years. Imagine finding one of these rare coins in your old collection, a jar, or tucked away in a drawer where it's been sitting unnoticed for decades. The thrill of discovery is unlike anything else, and the joy of realizing that a simple penny could be worth a small fortune is truly unforgettable. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a journey of exploration, curiosity, and sometimes, incredible reward. The penny itself has gone through numerous changes over the decades. Earlier versions, like the famous 1909 VDB or the 1955 double die, are legendary among collectors for their rarity and historical significance. While the 1996 no-mint mark penny may not be as old, it continues that legacy by surprising people with its hidden worth. Modern eras like these remind us that even in recent decades, extraordinary coins can still slip through the cracks and into our change.so. If you ever come across a 1996 penny, don't just spend it without a second glance. Take a closer look, because you never know what you might find. Examine the color, the shine, the strike quality, and most importantly, check for any small signs of errors or doubling. Those tiny details could mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth thousands. Collectors worldwide are always on the hunt for coins like these. Online auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections often feature rare pennies that sell for astonishing amounts. In many cases, the coins people overlook or assume are common end up being the ones that shock everyone at auction. Over the years, the 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has gained respect among collectors for its potential to produce valuable varieties. Whether it's because of a rare double die, a striking error, or an exceptional mint state example, it's proof that the most unexpected treasures often come from the smallest and simplest places. So next time you're counting change at your desk, cleaning out a drawer, or checking an old coin jar, keep an eye out for the 1996 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You might be holding a small piece of American history, and a coin that could transform your pocket change into a true collector's prize. And finally, if you're wondering how much one of these rare 1996 no mint mark Lincoln pennies in pristine, near-perfect condition can be worth, some have sold for an incredible amount of $36,555. That's right. A single penny worth over $36,000. So, before you dismiss that old coin sitting in your change jar, take a closer look. Because sometimes, the smallest treasures hide in plain sight. Welcome back to World Information HD, your trusted channel where we explore the fascinating world of coins, history, and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered right inside your pocket change. Today's story takes us deep into the world of the modern Lincoln cent, a coin that most people overlook, the 2001 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. It's a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, one you've probably held thousands of times, but as we'll uncover today, some rare varieties of this coin have stunned collectors and sold for astonishing amounts of money. So stay tuned till the very end, because you won't believe what this tiny copper-plated coin can truly be worth. Let's begin with a little background. The 2001 D Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 until 2008. These coins were struck at 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D Mint mark identifies that the coin was minted in Denver, Colorado, one of the busiest mints in the country, responsible for producing billions of coins every year. In 2001 alone, over 5 billion Lincoln cents rolled off the presses, making it one of the most common years in circulation. With that many coins produced, you might wonder, how could one of them possibly be worth thousands of dollars? Well, as every serious coin collector knows, rarity and value often hide behind small details. Minting errors, die variations, and unique conditions can turn a penny worth 1 cent into a fortune. The 2001 D penny is no exception. While most examples you find in circulation are worth face value, a select few have turned out to be incredibly valuable, thanks to rare minting errors, pristine conditions, or unusual die strikes that slip through the mint's strict quality control. Let's talk about the design for a moment. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has graced the penny since 1909. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a detail that makes the coin's design one of the most intricate ever featured on U.S. coinage. Now, when it comes to collecting the 2001 penny, condition is everything. Coins graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, with high mint state grades can sell for significant premiums. Most circulated pennies from 2001 are dull, scratched, or worn, but an uncirculated or mint state example with a deep red shine can command surprising prices at auctions. However, the real excitement for collectors comes from era coins, and the 2001 Lincoln cent is known to have some fascinating and rare era types. One of the most famous is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is not properly aligned during minting. Some of these show only a partial image of Lincoln's face, or a large blank area on one side of the coin. Depending on how dramatic the error is, such coins can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. Another popular variety among collectors is the broad strike error, where the coin was struck outside of the retaining collar, causing it to spread wider than normal. These coins have a smooth, stretched appearance, and are highly desirable because they're easy to authenticate and visually striking. Then there's the double die error, which happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or shifted during the minting process. This results in a coin that looks like it has doubled images, particularly noticeable on the lettering such as "Liberty in God We Trust" or the date 2001. Double die errors are some of the most sought-after types in numismatics because of how visually stunning they are. Even small die cracks or die chips, tiny raised areas of metal where the die began to wear, can add collector value. Some 2001 pennies show small extra bumps or blobs on Lincoln's face or around the letters, nicknamed "cuds" by collectors. These imperfections make each coin unique and collectible in its own way. Now, while mint errors are one reason the 2001 penny can be valuable, another key factor is grade, the physical condition of the coin. Coin grading ranges from poor P1 all the way up to mint state 70, MS70, a perfect, flawless coin with no marks visible even under magnification. The difference in value between a coin graded MS63 and one graded MS69 can be massive. Coins with a bright red luster, referred to as red or RD in grading terminology, are particularly valuable. Over time, copper coins like the penny tend to tone or darken, turning brown or red-brown. A 2001 penny that still retains its original red color from the mint is a rare find, especially in high grades. Collectors often pay hundreds or even thousands for examples that show no wear, scratches, or spots. Let's also talk about proof coins for a moment. Although the Denver Mint doesn't produce proofs, collectors often compare regular strike coins with proof versions made at the San Francisco Mint. These proof coins have mirror-like finishes and sharp details, designed specifically for collectors rather than circulation. While they're not the same as the Denver issue, understanding the difference helps collectors recognize why high-quality strikes from the Denver Mint can be so special. Another interesting aspect of the 2001 penny is its place in the final decade of the Lincoln Memorial design. By this time, the mint's dies were showing signs of age, and subtle variations in design detail can sometimes be found between dies used that year. Some collectors have even identified slightly different spacing in the lettering or tiny shifts in Lincoln's features that make certain 2001 coins unique. Now imagine this. You're going through a handful of pennies you've collected in a jar over the years. You pick up a shiny 2001 penny that looks different. The color seems deeper, the edges sharper, maybe even a small doubling on the letters. You decide to look closer, maybe even send it for grading. Weeks later, you discover that your ordinary-looking penny is a rare variety in near-perfect condition, and it's worth more than you could ever have imagined. That's exactly what happened to several lucky collectors. Over the years, examples of the 2001 Lincoln cent with extraordinary condition or rare minting errors have been auctioned for jaw-dropping amounts. Imagine turning a 1-cent coin into thousands of dollars simply because of a small imperfection. It's the thrill of the hunt that keeps coin enthusiasts searching through their change, roll after roll, hoping to find that next hidden gem. If you're wondering how to check the value of your own 2001D penny, start with these steps. First, examine the coin under bright light or with a magnifying glass. Look for any signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual raised marks. Second, check the coin's color and luster. Does it still have that bright red glow of freshly minted copper? If so, it might be worth grading. Third, visit a professional coin dealer or submit the coin to a certified grading company like PCGS or NGC for evaluation. These services will provide an official grade and authenticity certificate, which can make a huge difference in market value. Also, always handle your coins carefully. Avoid touching the surface with your bare fingers, as natural oils can cause oxidation and reduce the value over time. Instead, use cotton gloves or handle coins by their edges. Store them in protective holders to keep them safe from air and moisture. Many collectors have unknowingly damaged valuable coins by cleaning them or storing them improperly. So, what makes the 2001D Lincoln 1-cent penny truly fascinating isn't just its design or history, but the possibility that something so common could secretly be a treasure. It's a reminder that sometimes, value hides in plain sight, in your wallet, your drawer, or your coin jar. Each penny carries a story, and some carry a small fortune. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. The most valuable known 2001D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, with an exceptional strike, flawless red luster, and remarkable preservation, was sold to a collector for an unbelievable $41,536. Yes, that's right. A coin that most people would overlook as just another penny turned out to be worth over $41,000. So the next time you see a 2001D penny glimmering in your spare change, take a closer look, because you might just be holding a tiny piece of history worth more than you could ever imagine. Thank you for watching World Information HD. Welcome back to World Information HD. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, where a simple penny can turn into a life-changing treasure. Many people walk past coins lying on the ground, thinking they're worthless. But what if I told you that one of those small copper coins in your pocket, specifically a 2003D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, could be worth thousands of dollars? You heard that right. This coin might just be the ticket to your next big payday, and most collectors don't even realize it. Before you spend your next penny on a piece of candy or toss it into a tip jar, you might want to take a closer look. Because today, we're uncovering the secrets behind the 2003D Lincoln penny, its history, design, minting errors, and the shocking reason why certain versions of this coin are valued by collectors at unbelievable prices. Let's take a step back in time. The year 2003 wasn't all that long ago, yet in coin terms, even a few decades can mean the difference between common and collectible. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features the iconic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side. Over the years, the design has seen a few modifications, but the spirit of Lincoln's legacy has remained strong, symbolizing freedom, integrity, and American pride. Now, the 2003D Lincoln penny, produced at the Denver Mint, was part of the long-running Memorial Reverse series that had been in production since 1959. On the back of this coin, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, that classic, stately image standing tall in the center of the coin. But here's something you might not know. Even though billions of these pennies were minted that year, a few rare and unique variations have surfaced that have stunned collectors across the country. You see, not all pennies are created equal. While the majority of 2003D Lincoln cents are worth only their face value, a small fraction were struck with minting errors or special features that make them incredibly rare. These are the coins collectors are desperately searching for. Some of these errors occurred because of small imperfections during the minting process. Things like double die errors, off-center strikes, or planchet variations. To the average person, these flaws might go unnoticed. But to an expert collector, These tiny mistakes can transform a 1-cent coin into something worth thousands of dollars. Let's talk about one of the most fascinating errors: the double die obverse. This happens when the coin's design is impressed twice onto the die at slightly different angles. When a penny with this error is struck, it can result in the doubling of details like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's face. If you look closely, you might see ghost-like outlines or overlapping text around the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." Coins with these kinds of doubling errors are among the most valuable finds in the hobby. Another variation that excites collectors is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly centered under the press, resulting in a portion of the design missing or shifted to one side. The more off-center it is, without losing the date or mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. Some off-center 2003D pennies have sold for hundreds, or even thousands of dollars depending on the degree of the error. But there's more. A few collectors have discovered 2003D Lincoln cents with broad strikes, die cracks, and even clipped planchets, all of which can significantly increase the coin's value. The reason these coins are so sought after is that each one tells a unique story. It's like holding a small piece of minting history, a rare moment when the machines didn't get it exactly right, and collectors absolutely love that. Now, let's talk about the coin's composition. The 2003D Lincoln penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating. Since 1982, the U.S. Mint stopped making pennies out of solid copper due to rising metal costs. However, this zinc-based coin still has that familiar copper shine, at least when it's new. Over time, these coins can develop a darker tone, sometimes appearing almost reddish or brown. But here's something interesting: coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, meaning they've never been used or exposed to wear, are significantly more valuable. A mint-state 2003D penny with a perfect or near-perfect surface can fetch a surprisingly high price in the collector's market. When coin grading comes into play, that's where the value really starts to rise. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional organizations like PCGS or NGC, with 70 being a flawless coin. A 2003D penny graded MS67 or MS68, meaning it's nearly perfect, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Why? Because the higher the grade, the fewer examples exist. Collectors love perfection, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. Another fascinating factor that influences value is eye appeal. Two coins of the same grade might look very different under the light. One might have a brilliant red luster, while the other might be dull and spotted. Collectors often pay more for coins with bright, original color and minimal blemishes. So if you have a shiny 2003D penny that looks like it was just minted yesterday, don't dismiss it. It could be worth checking out by a professional grader. Let's not forget about mint sets and proof-like coins. While the Denver Mint primarily struck circulation coins, some 2003D pennies have surfaced with proof-like qualities, mirror-like fields and sharp details, making them highly desirable. These coins often came from early strikes, when the dies were still fresh, resulting in better details and a more appealing finish. And then there are the coins that have stories attached to them, the ones discovered in sealed rolls, inherited from grandparents, or found in jars that sat untouched for years. Imagine finding one of these in your change or hidden in an old collection box. People have done it before. Someone's spare change turned out to contain a rare mint era worth thousands, and they didn't even know it until they took a closer look. What makes the 2003D Lincoln penny so exciting is that it's still young enough to be found in circulation. Unlike older coins from the early 1900s, this one can easily slip through your fingers any day. That means the next time you're counting your coins, you might just stumble upon one of these valuable treasures without even realizing it. Collectors always say that the thrill of the hunt is what keeps them going. It's not just about the money, it's about the discovery. It's about knowing that something so ordinary can hide such extraordinary value. The 2003D penny is the perfect example of that. It's a modern coin with the potential to surprise even the most experienced numismatists. If you're just starting out as a coin collector, the best advice is to pay attention to details. Look for strong mint luster, minimal wear, and sharp design features. examine your coins under good lighting. And if you spot something unusual, maybe an off-center strike, a double die, or even a strange mark, set that coin aside. Get it appraised or graded. You might just be holding something special. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, patience pays off. Values fluctuate over time, and as certain coins become rarer, their prices often increase. Many collectors who found coins worth a few $100s years ago have seen those same coins rise in value dramatically. It's not just a hobby, it's an investment in history. So, before you dismiss that shiny penny in your pocket, take a closer look. Because the next big coin treasure could be hiding in plain sight. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. While most 2003 Lincoln 1-cent pennies are worth only a penny, some rare examples in pristine mint condition with exceptional errors have sold for an astonishing amount. In fact, one such coin, a 2003 Lincoln penny with near-perfect condition and striking mint features, has been valued by collectors and auction experts at an incredible $45,636. So check your change, because you never know when one of these small copper coins might just change your life forever. Thanks for watching World Information HD. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing coin, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible videos about the hidden treasures in your pocket. Have you ever wondered if the simple penny lying forgotten in your pocket could be worth a small fortune? Well, prepare to be amazed, because today we're diving deep into the story of one of the most fascinating coins from modern American history, the 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. You might think a coin from 2007 couldn't possibly be rare or valuable, but this humble copper-colored piece hides secrets that could make you rethink every penny you've ever held. The year 2007 may not seem that far back, but in the world of coin collecting, even a modern coin can become a prized treasure under the right circumstances. The Lincoln penny, featuring the legendary profile of President Abraham Lincoln, has been in circulation since 1909, a coin loved by collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. But not every Lincoln penny is created equal. Some versions, due to minting errors, variations, or special conditions, become incredibly valuable over time. And the 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one such story that continues to surprise collectors and coin enthusiasts across the world. Let's start with a little background. In 2007, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. These coins were struck at various locations, mainly the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Now, coins produced in Denver carry a small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side, while those produced in Philadelphia traditionally bear no mint mark at all. So, when we say no mint mark, we're talking about coins minted in Philadelphia, but that doesn't mean they're all ordinary. The 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny stands out because, despite being a fairly recent issue, certain examples have shown unusual traits that make them extremely desirable. These traits could include doubling in the design, known as a double die, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even striking errors where parts of the coin's design are missing or misplaced. In the world of coin collecting, these rare imperfections transform an everyday cent into a work of accidental art, one that collectors are willing to pay huge sums of money for. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of this coin. On the front, you'll see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, a symbol of leadership, freedom, and perseverance. The word liberty sits proudly on the left side, while the year 2007 is engraved on the right. Above Lincoln's head, the famous motto, "In God We Trust," completes the timeless American message. On the back of the coin, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, an iconic representation of honor and remembrance. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an incredible detail many people overlook. But what makes the 2007 penny special isn't just its design, it's the mystery behind its value. Some 2007 pennies have been discovered with unique errors that occurred during the minting process. For example, some coins were struck slightly off-center, leaving part of the design missing. Others show faint doubling in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," meaning the coin was struck twice in rapid succession, but not perfectly aligned. These doubled die errors are extremely popular among collectors because they are rare, visually striking, and often hard to replicate. Even small imperfections like die cracks or cuds, raised blobs of metal caused by a broken die, can make a coin stand out. These minting anomalies give each coin its own personality. Imagine holding a coin that exists in only a handful of examples because of a microscopic error. That's the thrill that drives coin collectors to search tirelessly through their spare change, coin rolls, and old jars for hidden treasures. Another factor that adds to the value of the 2007 no-mint mark penny is its condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale, ranging from poor all the way to mint state, or MS. A coin in mint state means it looks nearly perfect, as if it just rolled out of the mint. No scratches, no dents, no wear marks, just a brilliant, shiny surface. The higher the grade, the higher the potential value. So, if you happen to find a 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, it might be worth much more than 1 cent. Collectors also consider proof coins, special coins struck using polished dies and specially prepared blanks to produce a mirror-like finish. However, proof coins usually carry an S mint mark from San Francisco, so for the no-mint mark version, we focus on circulation strikes from Philadelphia. Still, there are examples where brilliant uncirculated coins can appear nearly proof-like due to sharp striking and excellent preservation, and those are the ones collectors go crazy for. What's particularly exciting about modern pennies like the 2007 no-mint mark version is that people often overlook them. Many assume only older coins, such as wheat pennies from the early 1900s, can be worth big money. But in reality, modern errors can command impressive prices too. Since fewer collectors were paying attention to minor details on newer coins back then, era pennies from the 2000s are harder to find in top condition today. That scarcity adds to their value. So how can you tell if your 2007 penny might be special? Start by examining it closely under good lighting. Look for doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or the motto. Check for off-center strikes where the rim appears uneven. Pay attention to the edges. A smooth or broad strike could indicate a minting issue. Also, look for die chips, cracks, or even missing letters or numbers. Any of these signs could mean you're holding something truly valuable. If you believe your coin might be rare, don't rush to sell it immediately. The best step is to get it professionally graded by an organization like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These institutions authenticate coins, grade their condition, and certify their value. Once a coin is graded and encapsulated in a protective holder, its worth in the collector's market increases significantly because buyers know it's genuine and accurately rated. Over the years, collectors have discovered some astonishing examples of error pennies that fetched thousands of dollars at auctions. For instance, coins with dramatic mis-strikes or bold doubled dies can easily attract huge bids from dedicated enthusiasts. Imagine turning a simple penny you found in your change into a life-changing amount of money. That's the magic of coin collecting. The story of the 2007 no-mint mark penny is a reminder that even in a world filled with digital transactions and cashless payments, physical coins still hold mystery and excitement. Every coin carries a piece of history, from the design inspired by a nation's pride to the subtle imperfections born in the minting process. Each one tells a story of craftsmanship, chance, and discovery. So the next time you receive change from a store, take a moment to look closely at those pennies. Don't overlook the ones that seem ordinary, because sometimes, the most unassuming coin can hide an extraordinary secret. Keep an eye out for that 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knows, you might just be holding one of the most valuable pieces of copper in your hand. Collectors and coin lovers continue to search tirelessly for rare finds like this. Some go through thousands of pennies just to find one that stands out. It's a hobby of patience, curiosity, and pure excitement. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a beginner just getting into coin collecting, the thrill of discovering a rare penny is something that never fades. And for the 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the dream is very much alive. Among the millions of coins struck that year, A handful possess qualities that make them priceless, errors so subtle yet so significant that they transform a common coin into a treasure. It's stories like these that make coin collecting so fascinating. You never know when luck will strike. One day, a penny from your pocket could be worth more than a gold coin. So keep searching, keep looking, and never underestimate the value of what you hold. Because hidden within the shine of an ordinary cent, history and fortune might just be waiting for you to notice. And yes, you heard that right. One of these rare 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent pennies has been sold for an astonishing $36,466. Welcome to World Information HD, your trusted source for discovering hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, inside your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into a modern coin that many people overlook, yet collectors are quietly hunting for it with enthusiasm. We're talking about the 2008 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a small copper-plated coin that could be worth far more than 1 cent if you know what to look for. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this seemingly ordinary coin has become a fascinating subject among collectors and how a rare error or condition could make yours worth an incredible amount of money. Let's begin with the story behind the 2008 Lincoln penny. Minted in Denver, Colorado, this penny belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series, one of the most collected coins in American history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has gone through several design changes, but one thing has stayed constant: the admiration collectors hold for it. The 2008 penny was one of the last coins produced in the Lincoln Memorial Reverse series before the U.S. Mint introduced the 2009 bicentennial designs and then replaced them with the Lincoln Shield Reverse in 2010. This makes the 2008 issues historically important because they mark the end of an era, the final tribute to the Lincoln Memorial design that appeared on the reverse of the penny from 1959 to 2008. Now, you might be thinking, it's a modern coin, right? Billions were made, so what makes it valuable? That's a great question. While it's true that billions of 2008 pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint, not all coins are created equal. Certain factors like condition, die errors, and minting anomalies can transform a simple penny into a collector's dream. Let's talk about condition first. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A penny that has been in circulation, showing scratches, nicks, or dullness, might only be worth its face value. But a 2008 penny in pristine condition, known as mint state, can be worth several dollars or even hundreds. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with MS70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 are exceptionally rare and highly desirable among collectors. So, if you ever find a 2008 penny that looks brand new, shiny, and free from scratches, don't spend it, inspect it carefully. Coins stored in rolls or sets sometimes escape wear and tear, making them worth much more to numismatists. But condition is only part of the story. The real treasures lie in the minting errors, those fascinating mistakes that happen during production and slip past the U.S. Mint's quality checks. And the 2008 penny has quite a few of them. One of the most talked about varieties is the double die error, where parts of the design appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin. On the 2008 penny, this can occur on Lincoln's eye, beard, or the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. Under magnification, you'll notice slight overlapping or shadow-like doubling that gives the coin a distinct look. Coins with clear doubling can fetch impressive prices at auctions. Another variety collectors watch for is the die crack error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin develops a small crack, leaving raised lines or patterns on the finished coin. Sometimes these cracks appear near Lincoln's shoulder or across the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The more dramatic the crack, the more intriguing and valuable the coin becomes. You might also encounter the off-center strike, another mint error where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin. Depending on how far off the design is, these coins can bring in high premiums. A coin with 10 to 20% off-center strike still showing a complete date and mint mark can be particularly desirable. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The 2008 penny was minted in huge numbers using a copper-plated zinc composition, 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. However, occasionally, a few coins are accidentally struck on older copper planchets or transitional metal blanks left over from earlier years. If you find a 2008 penny that's heavier than the normal 2.5 grams, it could be a transitional error struck on a copper planchet, one of the rarest and most valuable varieties. Collectors use a simple digital scale to check the weight. If your penny weighs around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, it could be one of those elusive transitional errors. Such coins have been sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Eye appeal is another factor that influences value. Some 2008 pennies exhibit an exceptional, glossy red luster, the kind of brilliant shine that makes the coin look as if it just came from the minting press. These are often graded, red or RD, by coin graders and are highly sought after. On the other hand, pennies with darker or brownish tones, known as brown BN or red-brown RB, are less valuable, though still collectible if they're in mint state. Beyond errors and conditions, there's also the historical aspect that collectors cherish. The Lincoln Memorial design holds nostalgic value for millions of Americans. It represents not just a structure in Washington, D.C., but a symbol of unity, freedom, and remembrance of the man who preserved the nation through its most trying times. Many collectors seek to complete full Lincoln Memorial Series sets, from 1959 to 2008, making the 2008 penny a vital closing piece. Imagine having a coin that marks the final breath of a 50-year design legacy, the last year before everything changed in the Lincoln Cent series. That alone makes the 2008 penny more special than most people realize. If you're someone who loves the thrill of treasure hunting, then checking your change in coin rolls could be a rewarding adventure. Thousands of people every year discover rare varieties by accident, sometimes in the most unexpected places, like pocket change, old jars, or inherited coin collections. All you need is curiosity, patience, and a keen eye. A magnifying glass, a simple scale, and knowledge of what to look for can help you identify coins that others might overlook. Websites like PCGS, NGC, and coin forums share detailed images and grading reports, helping collectors determine whether a coin is worth grading or selling. Let's not forget about auction stories, real examples of ordinary coins turning into extraordinary finds. In recent years, modern Lincoln cents with clear errors or perfect grades have fetched impressive prices at auctions and online marketplaces. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that stand out due to rarity, beauty, or error details. The 2008 Lincoln penny might seem like a coin you handle every day, but its potential to hold hidden value is real. Whether it's a mint-state gem, a double die error, a transitional planchet, or an off-center strike, each one tells a unique story about the minting process and history behind it. So next time you come across a shiny 2008 penny with the D mint mark, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of modern coinage history, a coin that represents the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in American money. Coins like this remind us that sometimes, extraordinary treasures come in the smallest forms. Every scratch, every shimmer, every slight imperfection tells the tale of how it was made, where it traveled, and what it survived. And if you're lucky enough to find one of the rare varieties or high-grade specimens, you'll have something not just valuable, but meaningful, a piece of history you can hold in your hand. Collectors often say, "The hunt never ends." That's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know when or where you might find your next hidden gem. So keep your eyes open, because one of these tiny copper-plated wonders could be waiting for you right now. And here's the part you've been waiting for, the ultimate surprise. Some of the rare 2008 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent pennies, especially those in perfect mint condition or with unique errors, have sold for an astonishing $32,377. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth just 1 cent to most people, has the potential to be valued at $32,377. So, Before you spend that 2008 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. You never know, you might just be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching World Information HD. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating videos about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind everyday money. Keep searching your change, the next big discovery might be yours.